Hello, listener. My name is Indrid Cold. What were you hoping to hear? A podcast about creatures or the unexplained from two suspiciously qualified individuals? I know you were. I've been watching these two for long enough. Let's listen in as Dave and Austin take you on the tour of the inspirations and theories behind pop culture's most interesting monsters. Welcome to the Cryptid Cast.
And she looked up and she said, when I seen them big red eyes, she said, we were out of there. Can't tell you what the rest of it looks like.
My mama said it was worse than the Frankenstein monster.
Hey, I don't know if this thing is spraying the market's territory or if it's just spraying when it gets mad like a skunk would.
Hello and welcome to the Cryptid Cast. I am your card-carrying cryptozoologist Dave Chaffins, and joining me is my favorite son of a Mothman, Austin O'Connor. How you doing, Austin?
Season's greetings.
Seasons.
It is the
Bright
time.
suns. Season's greetings.
It is time. It is time for my favorite. Well, actually, Halloween's my favorite. Second favorite.
I was going to say, you have a lot of favorite holidays.
I just
think
like
you're
the
just
whole
a very...
third, like the last fourth of the year
Yeah.
is just a good time.
You just like to be festive.
Festive and merry and holly. I
Yeah.
like just all of the festivities. There's just a warmth in the air. There's a chill in the air, but it's
Yeah.
ironically warm because it warms your spirits, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, you're so nice.
Yeah,
You're so kind.
Everyone is in the giving mood.
Mm-hmm. Everyone is in the giving mood?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone is just, maybe not everybody, because the holidays, a lot of people don't like the holidays, but a lot of people I've encountered over the years, they are in a much more generous giving spirit.
Yes.
It is the season of giving.
Yes.
So.
I like to get festive. We ended up getting our second Christmas tree.
Yes, and it is beautiful.
Since we have the 10-foot ceilings, humble brag, we get the 9-foot Christmas tree, and so it's like a big fancy Christmas tree.
Yes.
And best place to buy a fake Christmas tree, let me tell you, Home Depot.
Really?
Home Depot every single time. Anytime you want to buy like a big appliance, which I wouldn't call a tree an appliance, it would be like a very large decoration. Anytime you're looking to buy like a specific thing, Home Depot's always been pretty good to me. We're not sponsored by Home Depot, but I just want to throw that out there.
You know what's funny? I don't think I've ever been into a Home Depot before.
I had never been since I moved here and started like shopping for washers and dryers. And when I started shopping for washers and dryers, I went to Lowe's. And I was looking at their selection, and there was a Home Depot right across from it. I was like, well, let me go in there. And I found like a better version of the thing I wanted for less money. And I was like, well, I'm going to get that. That's an easy pick. That's very easily the thing that I want.
I always do Lowe's, but I might have to try Home Depot now.
Lowe's is great, I think, for when you want to solve a problem and you don't really know how to solve it, and you need a few things.
I always hit the button.
You always hit the button?
Please help. Yeah.
Please help. Help. Help.
Help me.
I need help. Clean up on aisle 3. What do they say? Special assistance needed in the wood cutting area.
When I was a
Special
kid-
assistance needed in the wood
It
cutting
just
area.
keeps going. And then it goes, special assistance, wood cutting. Like it
it's
cuts it
like-
short. And then like 20 seconds later, it says it again. I used to run around when I was a kid and I'd hit the button and just take off. Or I'd like hit it and I'd go hide in like the mock showers that you could close the like door. I'd like hit it and then run and close it and just laugh. I got caught one time though.
There's an employee that's working in the area that's like, this freaking
They're
kid.
like, oh my
This
God.
kid.
One time I did it and I went and like jumped up on a shelf and like slid like some sort of like tiling stuff in front of me and like hid there. And then I like waited way too long and my mom, or who was I with? It might have been with my dad. They like couldn't find me. And he like finally came down the aisle and I was like, oh, maybe I think I was like 7 or 8. I was like, I think I probably, it's probably about time I come out. Like they genuinely thought I got kidnapped, I think. But fun times at the Lowe's.
You needed special assistance. That's what you needed.
Special assistance needed, yeah. That's like me just in life. Just special assistance needed. Just in everything.
Just as a call sign.
Yeah.
Special assistance needed.
But it's been a few weeks since I've seen you.
It has been. So tell me what you've been up to.
Well, it has been an eventful last couple of weeks. What day was it? I guess I don't even know what date it is now. It was I'm going to say like last week, and that doesn't tell the listeners anything, which it doesn't really matter.
It was the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yes, the weekend before Thanksgiving. I was supposed to fly out at 5 a.m. from Charleston to go to New Orleans. And Nolans. And I was doing some freelance work for this company called The Roaring Riot, who they cover the Carolina Panthers. So it's like, dream come true because
Right.
I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I'm a Panthers fan. And
really?
Yes. And so I go to sleep Friday night.
So are you big into Fig Newtons or just Cam Newtons?
Just Cam Newtons.
Okay.
Just Cameron Jarrell Newtons of College Park, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. So I go to sleep, and I'm like, all right, I got to be up, got to get to the airport, gotta fly out at 5. I wake up at like 3 a.m., and a flight's been canceled. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I was supposed to spend all day in New Orleans getting B-roll footage for the video I was going to have to put together. So the next flight out is at noon. I had to fly to Charlotte first, then fly to New Orleans. I wasn't going to get to New Orleans until like 5:36. So I'm like, well, there goes all the B-roll footage I needed to get. Also, the event I had to start covering that night started at 5. So it was like you land, Uber, and just start.
And
like I was just going to have to start. So I film all this stuff, and then they're like, okay, well, we're going to do because it's a bunch of Panthers fans. Like, it's basically what the Roaring Riot is. They organize these trips, and they have all these Panthers fans kind of come together to tailgate, and they go out in the city, and they go to the game and all this stuff. So there's like 80 or 90 Panthers fans at the House of Blues, and they're like, all right, we're going to have a second line parade from here down to Pat O'Brien's, like down Bourbon Street.
Okay.
So I'm like, do you know what a second line parade is?
It's like where everybody gets together and they're all fans of the thing and they hoop and holler as they go to the stadium.
No, not even that. This is the night before the game.
Okay.
Second line parade, you get a permit for it in New Orleans. You can just throw your own parade.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. You just throw your so we got a permit.
Okay.
We had like a 5 or 6 person jazz band, like parade, like Mardi Gras style band.
Right.
Meet
I've
us
seen
at the
those
bar.
plenty of times in New Orleans.
Yeah. Lead us down Bourbon Street, just playing all these Panthers fans, like in New Orleans Saints territory, obviously.
That's
like,
really cool.
Yeah. So we do this whole march, and that was neat. And then I went to Cafe Du Monde, got some beignets.
What was your take in the beignet?
Beignets? It was basically like funnel cake, I thought, to me, but just like with a little hint of donut. It was like a mixture of a funnel cake
Maybe
and a donut.
texture.
Just with all the powder. It was good, and it was cheap. It was like 3 for $3.
Oh, yeah.
Really
It's
beat
because
that.
they just make them.
We asked the woman. We were like, "What time do you guys close?" Because it was like 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
We were like, "What time do you guys close?" She was like, around like 6 p.m. Christmas Eve." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it's a 24-hour situation.
I didn't realize there was such a demand for beignets, but
Cafe Du Monde is like 2 blocks from where we had our little hotel. Our hotel room was had no windows.
Oh.
It was very dark sleeping.
Yeah.
But it was like a nice hotel.
Yeah.
But it was in the middle of the French Quarter.
Yeah.
And we went to Cafe Du Monde, and it was so good. And the
It's
coffee
cool.
there is so good.
I've heard that. Is it like espresso type coffee, or like
It's
is
just
it
they
normal?
have their own bean. Like you can go out and buy Cafe Du Monde. Like you can go to
My
the
mom
Kroger.
has some like up
in
on
the
her
can.
cabinet, like
Yeah.
in the big container thing. But so that was like, a good part of the trip. The game was obviously Panthers lost on like a last second field goal, but it was fun because I was on the field and I was shooting and all this stuff. And then I got to the hotel that night. I'd edited, I'd done all this stuff.
Right.
And I was like, man, like I need to go to sleep because I have to fly out at 5 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it's going to be like a half-hour ride to the airport. I'll probably have to get up around like 2:30, Uber down, get there by like 3:30, 4, just to get, because it's a bigger
Get there,
airport.
yeah.
So I wake up at 1 a.m. and I was like, man, like I had that pain in my stomach, like as if, like it's the pain when you haven't eaten, just like your stomach's rumbling and empty,
Yeah.
like just that kind of rumbling pain. And I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I realized I hadn't eaten literally all day Sunday. I had a little bit of breakfast, and that's all I'd eaten the whole day. Didn't eat anything.
you were
past
ready.
Past I think I ate at like 6-something a.m.
Yeah.
So I went that whole day running around like crazy, shooting the game, everything.
Yeah.
No food at all. And I was like, man, I'm hungry. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh man, like I feel sick. And I threw up like 3 times.
What? Like, I don't want the answer, but what the hell did you throw up?
Exactly. It was, there was nothing, but I was just throwing up. And I was like, oh man. And I felt better. I was like, okay, I'm good. Like maybe it was just like, it's my body, my blood sugar's low. My body was going into like meltdown mode, but I'm good. And I get in the shower and I feel fine. And I get out and I throw up again. I'm like, oh my God, like this is not good because I have to get on a plane. So I'm like, wow, blood sugar. I just need to go get some food and get something in me.
Yeah.
Nothing's open near the hotel. I was like, well, I'll Uber to the airport. There's tons of like vendors and restaurants. I'll just eat something there. I get there not thinking, oh, it's 2 a.m. TSA is closed. Hasn't opened yet. You can't get through the security.
Oh, no.
TSA is closed. There are literally, I checked, 0 vending machines at the Louis Armstrong International Airport. 0. You had to like walk way like blocks and blocks and blocks down like the actual airport the
terminals.
I don't even know what you would call it. Just the like outside down to like another stop to get to any sort of vending machine.
Yeah.
Vendors are closed. TSA is closed. No vending machines. Nothing. I like internally was like, this. What's that Simpsons name? He's like, I'm in danger. Like laughing. That was me because I could just feel my blood sugar just continuing to plummet.
Right.
I was wobbling, like trying to carry my bag. I was genuinely like, I've never felt this weak in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know what compelled me to do this, but I called my mom. I was like, hey, I don't know what to do right now. Like I felt like a kid again. I was like, I'm genuinely concerned for my safety. And I went to the bathroom and I like was still sick and I sat down. I sat down up against the wall and was like genuinely fading in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
And I asked this woman finally if there was anywhere I could get something. And she was like, nah, yeah, there's like a vendor up on the 3rd floor up there. And I was like, yeah, it's closed. There's nobody. Oh yeah, we'll just go through TSA. TSA is closed. Oh yeah, well, when you do go through TSA, get you a Coke. You'll feel better. And she just walks away like a worker. And I'm like, thanks, appreciate it. And then I'm just like literally like my head's like dropping. Like I'm about to pass out.
Man.
And this woman comes out. And she was like, were you looking for something to eat? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, is your blood sugar dropped? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, well, baby, come with me. Come with me. She was like, here. She hands me some candy. And I eat it. She's works in the parking garage. So she walks me to the parking garage to like the security office, gets me a Coke and a bag of chips and like has me sit down and eat it and drink it. And I was like, can I Venmo you something? She was like, no, baby, you get to feeling better. And
what
she
a
like
hero.
disappeared. I genuinely, that was one of like the nicest things. It was so simple, but I was like, oh my God, the Southern hospitality, like New Orleans, just like that woman was so nice. Cause I was probably, this is not an exaggeration, I was probably about to pass out and more than likely would have, like, I'm sure someone would have like called 911 or something because I was hurting. Yeah. And it was my own fault. It was a stupid mistake to have not eaten. I put myself in the situation.
Right.
But I'd never been in that situation before. And I was like, well, if I wait, I'll get through TSA and I'll do it. But I did not plan that at all.
Yeah.
So I drink the Coke and I eat it and I go in and I got like a Gatorade because TSA, of course, opened like right after this. And I got a Gatorade and I flew home and I was fine. Well, then I had a fever when I got home. So then I apparently somehow had a stomach bug. Was sick for like the next 2 days. So I don't know if it was food poisoning, what. I wanted to just die. I was like, I should have just died in the New Orleans airport, I think. Like
there's an alternate reality where you're dead.
I'm just dead.
And it's just like...
And it led up to Thanksgiving, and I was like still kind of sick on Thanksgiving, which sucked. Because I like to eat.
I remember.
Yeah, we talked about this. I like to eat.
I was there too.
Yeah, you were there. And
I remember.
But lesson learned... Don't go a whole day without eating.
No.
However, considering I ended up actually like getting a fever and having a bug, maybe I'm a genius. Because had I eaten a lot, I probably would have been sick the whole flights home. I think I just didn't have anything to throw up.
I think that you're trying to make up for your mistake. I
don't know.
We're like, yeah, like you shouldn't eat like
it's just
a
coincidental.
fancy hamburger. Like you should eat like a banana.
It's just coincidental that I had like the problems from not eating, and then I got home and I had like a stomach bug.
What is is it brats, bananas, rice, applesauce? There's a T, and then the S one is saltines.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an acronym for like what you can eat when you have a stomach bug. It's bananas, rice, applesauce. There's the T stands for something. Saltines,
Tomatoes,
potatoes,
tomatoes,
greens, beans.
I got beans, greens, potatoes. Yeah, but I ended up eating like 4 pretzels on the plane ride home and drank like 2 bottles of Gatorade. And I was okay.
That was my 4 pretzels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not
okay.
like full pretzels.
Okay.
Like little pretzels.
Well, you were dehydrated.
Yeah. No, I bought the little like just a bag of pretzels,
salted pretzels,
and I was afraid to eat too many of them. I was like, once I get home, I'll try to eat more.
So wait, you had the pretzels instead of the cookie?
Huh?
Did they offer a cookie on there?
Oh no, I bought like a bag of pretzels. Once I got through TSA.
Here's what you do. Okay, here's the situation. You go on the plane. Your stomach's feeling upset. Get the cookie because the cookie on the plane is a digestive, and so it helps if you're having an upset stomach. If you're like extra upset stomach, but you still need some, get the cookie and a ginger ale.
Well, it wasn't upset stomach anymore. It was just like nausea. I just felt like lightheaded.
Yeah,
but I took a Dramamine, and that did the trick. I KO'd on that flight home. And ultimately, from New Orleans to Charlotte, it was like an hour and a half, so it wasn't that bad. And from Charlotte to Charleston, 31 minutes. It was just the fastest flight.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. My wife's advice for you. My wife's advice for you. Every time I talk to her, it's like, David, he needs to eat more. So you just need to eat more. Because
she said I need to eat
more?
more?
You need to eat more because you know what you do? You come over, you have breakfast in the morning, you have like something, and you tell me you don't eat at work all day until you get off at work. And then you like, I'm going to go to Wendy's and get a spicy chicken. And it's like, she's always like, I worry about him. He needs to eat more.
Oh my gosh!
So you got your mother in Kentucky, and you got your second mother
my
here.
second mother
like,
here. My mom was so pissed with me.
Oh, I'm sure
she was like, "Let this be a lesson." I was like, "Yes,
I hope
Mom."
you feel bad.
Yeah. I felt bad for calling. I mean, it was 3 a.m. here because I was an hour behind, but I felt bad. But I was like, I need to call someone just in case I lose consciousness. Like, I need someone to know so they can let them know what's going on.
Find me when I'm dead.
Yeah. So there I am, just like sipping a Coke, sitting on the floor. But it worked out. But that was my tangent, I guess, and it was definitely. I feel like I'm still recovering. Like, I've just been exhausted since that. Like, even. Like last weekend, I actually went back to my parents' house and just slept.
Just made up
numerous naps.
I mean, you
day.
didn't sleep at all. Like you didn't eat at all. So you were just like, you needed to readjust your body.
I think I got like 4 hours of sleep the first night in New Orleans, and then I slept like an hour and a half the second night before I had to start. It was rough. It was fun though. I appreciate the Roaring Riot for sending me. It was a blast, and I got some really awesome pictures. But like, my body was just like, nope. It was cooked.
Yeah.
So it was very unlucky that happened. But the experience, New Orleans is awesome. And I love like the creepy
New Orleans
voodoo.
is my favorite city in America.
The voodoo and just like the culture and like the French influence on everything.
There is no other place like it in the world. There is no other place like New Orleans. Anywhere you go, you will not find anywhere like New Orleans.
It was so cool. And like everyone was just like, let's have a good time. What is it? They say like, let the good times roll, but it's the French.
It's the most relaxed atmosphere. Like you can it is inadvertently it's extremely like however you feel, whatever you feel like doing, you be you, and nobody's really gonna bother you.
Even the Saints fans watching us march were like outside dancing and having fun, and like we're super cool, super nice about everything, and we're like very welcoming, and it was really neat. It was really cool.
And
I got a picture of Christian McCaffrey flexing his huge biceps in the end zone.
That's good.
He was just like this, but imagine like this, but if my biceps were way bigger.
Well,
for everyone that can't see me, I'm flexing, but like his are just like marginally bigger than mine. If you look close, like right here, but like bigger. Yeah. And with a jersey on and pads and a helmet, and I'm in the Superdome, bigger.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Scoring a touchdown. just larger than this.
Well, I had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. As you continue to flex, I will.
Can I put my arms down?
You can put your arms down.
Okay, thank you.
I had a fantastic Thanksgiving holiday. I have some stories. I think I'll share one next week.
I was gonna say I kind of just accidentally went on like
That's
a
fine.
10-minute
I have a
rant.
good one, and it's like I don't want to rush it because it's a pretty good one.
Yeah. You want it to
so
be
maybe
like-
maybe next week I'll share a story from my mother that she has to tell. But the one thing.
Can we call her? Can we have her on the show just for the tell the story?
Well, I'd have to
Are
get
you
into the
scared?
explaining of the story,
Yeah.
which she was like, "Oh, this thing happened. This thing happened."
Yeah.
And she was playing it off as it wasn't that funny, and it's
Yeah.
the most hilarious thing in the world. So
Yeah.
tune in next week.
Next week we'll get
Tune
into
in
it.
next week
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
This is Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. I remember Casey Kasem. Rest in peace.
Rest in pieces. Cue the sound effect.
Oh my god.
This week's story is from Twin Finance Alex Gibson. You ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this.
I'm ready for this jelly.
In one of the most bizarre PR stunts we've ever heard, Capcom is offering UK residents 50,000 euros, equivalent to 70,500 United States dollars, to find hard evidence proving the existence of one of 10 mythological creatures.
Thank you.
Last week, Capcom released its hotly anticipated title, Monster Hunter World. So this is from 2018, but I just love this article so much, I wanted to read it.
Yeah.
The game sees players gear up to venture on a quest to battle fearsome creatures, progressively improving their hunting abilities as they play. Presumably figuring the experience would have its players in an adventurous mood, Capcom has decided there would be no better way to promote the game than sending them on a wild goose chase to find old wives' tales and boogie monsters grounded in as much reality as its own fantastic game. Laura Skelly, senior PR manager of Capcom, explains, "When planning the upcoming launch of Monster Hunter World, we couldn't help but keep coming back to the real-life monsters we've heard stories about since we were kids. Speaking to the world's leading real-life monster hunter, John Downs, we were inspired to reopen investigations into a select top 10 beasts, setting a huge bounty to really encourage people to get back out hunting for the evidence. Much like the new Monster Hunter World game, we thought it was only right that the scale of the reward fit the task at hand. Indeed, Capcom is taking this extremely seriously. The company has recruited John Downs, a real-life monster hunter and cryptozoologist, to help select the monsters that still exist across the globe and assist with a skillful examination of evidence once submissions have been closed. Downs explains there are stories of monsters from around the world, and while some may be flights of fancy, not every one of these monsters can be made up. It is one of life's greatest mysteries, and similar to Monster Hunter World, have I said Monster Hunter World enough? I've spent the majority of life traveling across the globe to hunt for evidence of these creatures. Before you get your hopes up, though, he admits that while he's had some success, he's yet to find the elusive proof, and it is time for me to offer my help as I throw down the gauntlet to the next generation. So if Downs, an expert that has decided his life is finding the monsters, can't do it, we're not too hopeful of any big breakthroughs in the 5 months between January 30th and June 30th. That's of 2018. That Capcom is giving to punters to deliver. If you're interested, though, here are 10 creatures it wants to be found. And that list is, as I look it up, and I remember off the top of my head, the monsters are as follows: Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, the Mongolian Deathworm, a mermaid, Earthhound, Yeti, Chupacabra, the Flying Snake of Namibia, Yowie, and the Cornish Almond. So Mothman was not included.
Well, the Cornish Almond is basically Mothman.
The Cornish Almond is like I don't drink Bud Light. I only drink Hefeweizen. Or like I only drink.
Where are you going with this?
Heineken.
Where are you going with this?
I'm looking for the Cornish. I'm looking for the Cornish Almond.
Cornish Owlman.
I believe in the Cornish Almond.
I am fully behind them doing this though, because I have been quoted on here saying that it's 2019. We all have cell phones. We all can record video. Where's the evidence?
That's why I chose this, is because this is
It's right up my alley.
Last
right up
week
my
we
snally.
talked about the Yeti and them actually putting evidence. This is people like putting down money.
Yeah, people are like,
J.
yo,
Jonah Jameson.
prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it. I'm down with this. I like it. I wish I could help in some way.
I'm curious if they had received anything. We need to follow up with Capcom here and figure out.
Coincidentally enough, actually, when I was doing some research today, and the article about that came up.
Really?
When I was looking for stuff.
That's
on
probably
Star
how
Wars.
I found it.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, cool.
Well, I need to. I'm going to reach out to their PR person and be like, "Hey, did you all find anything?
Yo, tell us the truth. Tell us the truth.
Tell us the truth. I need to get in contact with them.
Do it. Tell
That's
us
a great way to
do it.
to maybe we can get we can talk about some Monster Hunter World. I played a little bit of that game. I like that game.
Yeah.
Guess what you do?
You hunt monsters?
Whoa, yeah, that's
In the
exactly
world?
what you do. In the world, there's a world. You hunted monsters.
I've been playing Outer Worlds.
Oh,
Those creatures are wild, man.
I'm glad that you've been playing that.
Yeah.
I've been happy that you've been playing
Got into it, you know. I dabble.
Well, let's see.
I
now.
really want to try the new Star Wars game, though.
Well, you can try it downstairs. I've got.
You like it?
It's like I have everything Star Wars. Which we will,
You have like every game ever, though, too. At the same time.
that's true. That's true because
my like 2 purchases lately have been Call of Duty and Outer Worlds. Like those have been the 2 games I
your
got.
thing. Yeah, I'm a collector of digital media.
Hey, that's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. So, well, I'm glad that you've been playing that because I think that you would. I'm assuming you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah,
playing
fun.
playing that little game.
It's a good time.
It's a good time.
Good
all
time.
around.
Had
Yeah.
by all, yeah.
Much similar to our previous podcast where we talked about one specific game that was much similar to that.
Yeah. I think I'm enjoying this a little more, though.
Yeah, right now that's where your headspace is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I felt when I was playing it, I was like, this is the way.
Yeah. This is the good stuff.
This feels.
Well, you know what? You know what it reminds me of?
What does it remind you of?
It reminds me of there's this series of there's books, there's movies, there's video games, there's all sorts of things. And it's in a galaxy that's far, far away.
Right.
That's what they say.
But here's the thing.
Yes.
Before we even go to the galaxy far, far away, we need to hear a word from our sponsors.
Should introduce myself. I'm Corin Black, a humble half-demon, and folks around Baltimore call me the Devil's Runt. Here we go, finally moving again.
How do you feel about methamphetamines? You know, devil's blood don't make you a devil.
Under the Shroud. Fantasy, noir, and horror from Baltimore's sin-soaked streets. Find creator Ian Humphrey on Twitter at fictionalian.
So today we gather to talk about some Star Wars.
Yes. In
Here,
a galaxy far,
far away.
pretty far away.
Why didn't they say very?
I don't know.
Far.
Just a galaxy very far away.
Very far.
Far away.
Or just like in a galaxy like millions of light years away. Then that's a measure of
Hey, I guess it works. I don't know.
a measure of distance.
But Star Wars, we're talking about.
Yes.
You like how I hit the little Yoda there? Star Wars, we're talking about.
We're talking about
It was actually unintentional.
That's you must be in the spirit. The spirit of the season. It's
Force
Star Wars
just
season,
grabbed
though.
me.
Let me tell you.
There's a lot of Star Wars stuff
Let
going
me
on right
tell
now.
you, we have set. Okay, this is coming from the Star Wars superfan. We have set in a time. Let me tell you about the Dark Ages when we didn't have anything. We didn't have anything for years. We sat around. We had a few video games. We had the prequels, which are fine. As a kid, I liked them. They're fine. They're whatever. We had those, but then there was nothing.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. No Star Wars for anyone for years.
Yeah.
And we had to sit around and twiddle our thumbs.
Yeah.
and
a dark time.
We had to watch things like John Carter. Who watches John Carter? Tell me that.
I don't think
Disney
I've ever
original
seen.
movie John Carter, based on some comic book probably. We had to
never
sit and
seen
watch that because we didn't have anything.
Go off, King.
2015 rolls around, right?
Yes.
2015 rolls around. And all of a sudden, it's like, bam, it's Star Wars time. We're getting Star Wars stuff. We're getting new video games. We're getting new books. We're getting new comics. We're getting new TV shows now. Like, popping off.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan.
It is, because you just had the brand new video game. You've got
Brand new TV show.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We've got the new movie coming up in a few weeks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Less than 2 weeks, probably.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah. So that's big.
Big if true.
Big if true. So that's cool. I started watching Mandalorian last night because I finally got Disney Plus.
Uh-huh.
I was very not confused. It took me a minute to really like take it all in at first.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, so his helmet's just never coming off. And I'm not used to a character where you don't see the expression. But I like it because it adds that effect, like when they were in the ship and he's transporting the prisoner that he has, and he just keeps talking to him, and he's just not even acknowledging it. Like, there's some humor to it. You're just like, oh, this is kind of funny because he's just sort of an a-hole, and that's just his character. But my favorite part of the whole episode was like the fact that he just fought with his droid. Spoiler alert! Fought with his droid through this whole battle, and then when the droid's about to kill little baby Yoda, he's just pops the droid, and then he's like wiggling his finger like any person would do to a baby. Yeah. Just like, hey, just thing. Wiggling his little finger. And like that cracked me up, just like that side of humanity of like, I'm not going to kill this little infant. Like, even though it's 50 years old, but like just the side of like, typically if you see a dog or if you see a baby, you're going to be like, hey, like you get your little baby voice going. Like I could just picture him like doing that. So that's where I'm at. I only watched the first episode. I plan on watching a few more tonight.
Fine. I'm not gonna like if a Baby Yoda meme is spoiler territory. We're gonna talk about a Baby Yoda meme.
Baby Yoda meme is my favorite. It has been simultaneously the worst but best thing that's happened to me in the last week.
Why is it the worst? But
because
best?
It's like I just have fallen down a rabbit hole of like so many of them.
There's so many Baby Yoda
and I just
memes.
want more always.
Yes.
Like I want more Baby Yoda memes, but then at the same time, they're just one of my favorite things.
Here's the thing. My personal opinion, the best part about that show is Baby Yoda. He's the best part about the show. Yeah. Every scene that Baby Yoda is in the show, and this is no spoilers, is the best. Watching him, I could literally just watch a show about him doing stuff.
My favorite thing is like that it's not actually like Yoda.
No, it's
I
and I
didn't
think
know
it's
that
funny
until
that
I watched
everybody
it.
calls him Baby Yoda.
When it's like, we just don't know what he is. Yeah. Have we ever determined what species Yoda is? Is that like a thing?
And that's a thing that we will certainly get to, because today we're going to talk about cryptids and monsters and all that fun stuff in relation to Star Wars.
Yeah. Somebody put like Timberlands and like a New York Yankees hat on Baby Yoda, and they called him Baby Yerda.
Baby Yerda.
Yeah, like Yer. Like that's just the thing. And I thought that's
good.
my favorite one so far. Or Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks. They put like his hair on Baby Yoda and like a Seahawks hat, and like the face, like the little like football like eye, like the two little lines under the eyes. And I thought that was it. It looked identical to him, and I love it.
My wife showed me a meme of Baby Yoda that he's like reaching out, but he has a spatula in his hand, and it's like me when my wife is cooking a Thanksgiving dinner, and I ask if there's anything I can do to help.
Yeah,
You're just like standing there with the spatula, like
Baby Yoda is great. The show is great, and coincidentally, one of the things I liked about it, since we were doing this episode today, is like even in the first episode, you get a good look at several like creatures of Star Wars. Like,
I like that's my favorite. One of my favorite things about Star Wars is like all of the design of these. Like people put in time to make all of these. Like as much time was put into the people, the Avatar people, the Na'vi. Yeah, like every single alien, even the like whatever this like big faced little cows that they have. Yeah, piranha cows. What are they? I'm not sure. Anyways.
What were the ones? The blurgs? Is that what they're called? The ones that he rides?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those things are weird.
Weird. So
Super weird.
I just want to get your background. When did you what's your introduction to Star Wars?
Introduction to Star Wars.
Like when did you first?
Boy.
When did you?
I'm
you
gonna
don't
have
to
to
go. You don't have to walk me through.
I'm gonna have
history.
to find the photo. I'm sure Dixie has it.
Yeah.
When episode 1 came out, when we were kids.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I loved. At that point, I loved it. Looking back now, as someone who can actually like appreciate a movie, it was terrible. It was
It's
awful.
whatever.
But when I was
There's
a
good
kid,
parts, yeah.
when I was a kid, I was like, "This is awesome!" Like
Yes.
that was my introduction.
Yes.
and it was good enough. Like for as a kid, you're like, "Oh my god, Star Wars is amazing!" Like,
Right.
So
Well, that's the thing. He made those movies for us.
yes,
Like
it
for
was-
the kids.
Yeah, and in that way, it was genius the way he did it. Like,
Yes.
but in terms of just like holding up like 4, 5, and 6, dude, no, it doesn't at all.
Right.
Episode 3 wasn't terrible. It was the best of the 3 in my opinion.
I like 2. I like
like
2 the
2 better?
best because
We'll just say 1 was trash. 2 and 3 were not awful, but they don't.
But it's like there's stuff that I like. Like I like the pod racing. Like I
Yeah.
like that. I think
pod
that's
racing
cool as
was
heck.
So I went as Anakin Skywalker for Halloween one year.
Oh yeah.
And I had the big mask, like the one that like had like the 2 little like glasses things, and it
Yeah.
was like the big rounded top. Like I had that with like his sort of like desert outfit that he had, and I was so obsessed that I got it a few weeks early, and I wore it to Sam's Club one day just when my grandma was going to shop. I just wore it just to wear it.
That's good.
On like October the
Cosplay.
It was like October the 13th or the 14th, and I'm wearing a full Anakin Skywalker outfit. Yeah. That was my introduction. And then obviously when I probably got to be like 12 or 13,
You started watching
I
more
was
of them.
like,
Yeah.
I'm going to sit and watch 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And that was when I like really loved it because I was like, okay, like I get it now. Like
Yeah.
this was how it was meant to be watched.
I don't even remember how old I was. I was young though, but
Yeah.
we on snow days often and in the summer. My parents had VHS recordings of Star Wars. Now, when I say VHS recordings, and this is before, I know this was before episode 1.
Yeah.
That I was watching these. They're the TV movies like that played on TV.
Yeah.
They recorded them on the VHS, including all the commercials. So growing up, I was very versed on Star Wars and 90s commercials.
Yeah.
Like there was a ton of commercials with the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Oh, God, that
I am
Chihuahua.
like uber familiar
I
with the
miss that
Taco Bell
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Oh, was that like Yo quiero Taco Bell? Like that
Yeah,
was like
he
the
said
way
Yo
it sounded.
quiero Taco Bell. That
Yeah.
was the whole thing.
I love that.
Commercials for all kinds of different stuff, like weird local ads that you would see.
Yeah.
It's the methodology. Like we
Yeah.
didn't have the movies, like we didn't have the like complete movie on
But it
it.
worked, I guess.
But it worked, and so that's what I started with was the VHSs, and then I had a ton of toys.
Oh yeah, I had lightsabers. I had like a little like walkie-talkie. I got one Christmas. I got a walkie-talkie set.
Yeah,
that was
that's like the little circular ones.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
like pop things in it, and like those characters would say stuff.
Yeah,
to you.
that was their big marketing thing with the new.
Yeah,
the,
it was like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn and like all those
because
characters.
it's funny because those action figures, that style, is still a thing now, which is kind of
Really?
wild. Yeah, those like like they're about like 4 or 5 inch.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there that's probably like they're 6 inch and they have a particular name and it's like, but they're like still like those
Yeah.
are the collectible ones.
Next time I go back to my parents' house, I'll have to find that little VHS recording from Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Because when I opened that, I was so excited. Like, I've got the thing, and I'm like showing, I'm like, look at this. And I've got like the walkie-talkie. I remember that, though. And that was, I had like the game for the PS1 where like you basically go through the movie of episode 1.
I think I
And like you
remember
fight
that
Darth
game.
Maul at the end, and it's like you play as you start as Qui-Gon, and then you end up as Obi-Wan, and go through. I think you do the pod racing, which is fun. Like
Right.
that was a fun game, and that was like I think that era was when I was big into it. And then I'm not as obsessed with it now as I was, but I still love Star Wars. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, somebody has not grown up yet.
You probably know a lot more about it than I do in terms of like the background of like different planets.
Well,
and
what did my
creatures.
parents buy me? It was like prop books from Star Wars so that I
Yeah.
could read about like the history behind all of these like little props, like
Yeah.
what the engine was, and
Yeah.
then and the Naboo Royal Cruiser.
So you know
and,
your
like,
stuff.
Yes.
Well, then I'm going to let you take the lead today. I have a few thoughts on some things, but I feel like you're going to have some even better ones.
I particularly wanted to bring out and talk about. I've wanted to do this since this was one of my original ideas for the podcast. Is talk about just some of the monsters in the podcast.
Yeah.
I've been playing the new Star Wars game. We got the new Star Wars show, got the movie coming out, and we just booked our trip to Disney World in February. And I'm going to go to Galaxy's Edge, and I'm going to be talking to because it's like a Renaissance fair for Star Wars people, and you have to talk in when you're out there, you got to talk in the character of the people out there, so you can play Jedi mind tricks on stormtroopers as they're walking by, and they got to believe it. So you got to be like, you don't want to talk to me. You want to go kick that trash can, and the stormtroopers be like, I don't want to talk to you. I want to go kick that trash can. And they're going to be over there sitting there kicking the trash can. This is an immersive world that I'm living in.
I obviously haven't been to the new Star Wars stuff because I don't. Has it opened the brand new stuff they've done at Disney World?
Yeah, it's all open.
I went there in 2016 to the Star Wars thing, and I met Kylo Ren and Chewbacca.
To the little Star Tours.
Which was fun. And they had the ride. I did the Star Wars the 3D immersive ride.
Yeah,
and
this is
brand new
the new attraction opened today, and I don't want to because there's spoilers for this attraction. It's a 20-minute long attraction that's in 3 acts. That you mount a mission for the Resistance, and it's it's like an episode of a TV show, and it has different endings every time. And the other ride is the Han Solo ride, the Millennium Falcon, where you get in and you're in the Millennium Falcon, 2 pilots, 2 engineers, 2 gunners, and you got to run a smuggling mission.
That would be cool.
It's you're flying the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
it's not they're simulating it. It's you're driving. One person does the up down, the other person does the left right. You put it in the hyperspeed.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well,
so I am
excited for this.
Yes.
Well, let's hear. So I guess we're going to talk a little about
creatures,
some creatures in it, and maybe if it had some origin or some kind of
fun
inspiration
facts, some different stuff. Yes, talking points, etc. I wanted to start with first of all the most important one.
Yeah,
Chewbacca.
That was the first one I wanted to talk about too.
Yes.
So this is great.
This is one
because we know what Chewbacca is.
He's Bigfoot.
He's friggin' Sasquatch, dude.
Yeah,
and you think about when the movie was made. It was made in the 70s.
Yeah.
That was the height of Sasquatch debate.
Yes.
So clearly, George Lucas was
George Lucas has an explanation where he essentially says that he was riding in the car with his dog. Mm-hmm. Is this an Alaskan Malamute? I'm probably mispronouncing that. He was riding in the car with it, and it was sitting in the passenger seat, and he was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then he came up with the idea of Chewbacca.
Yeah.
But the design of Chewbacca definitely they don't mention it ever.
Yeah.
It had to be Bigfoot.
He's 7 feet tall. There's clearly full on just gorilla man.
Right.
That's
My favorite is watching some of the documentaries where they have the guy that played him. And the original footage and stuff, he's talking in a normal voice under that thing, so that they can respond off of him. And so it's funny to be here and be like, "Oh yes, this is the Emperor, right?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, Chewbacca, this is the." But in the movie, they overtake that.
I can't do the voice. But no, that was the first one. I mean, that's kind of for me, I was even going to say, I know this is kind of low-hanging fruit because it's so obvious, but
it's so
you
obvious.
Can't not talk about it.
You can't not.
Because he's definitely 100%. Yeah. Chewbacca is the most likable character too. That's the thing is I got into this rabbit hole from that of Chewbacca and then other movies using Bigfoot as this likable character. What was it? Was it Harry and the Hendersons? Is that the movie? They were talking about that too, how in the 80s, they wanted to make Bigfoot this likable character, this relatable, friendly guy. Mm-hmm. It's just funny how he has been used, the inspiration has been used like that. But no, Chewbacca is cool. I love did you ever watch the Star Wars Christmas special where it's Chewbacca's kids or whatever?
And they have that little kid that smiles and he's in all the memes or he's cheesing his grin all over. Yeah.
The special effects or the transitions for that were so bad too. Because it was Chewbacca's children, and it's the screen just the circle opens, and it's this overlaid shot of his son going just like teeth out, just like smiling, like shaking his head.
I've watched that unironically. Like I haven't watched the clips of it. I have watched it all the way through.
Yeah. Is it good?
No. Oh no. Oh no. I am the biggest Star Wars apologist ever. It is
But it's
not.
bad.
I've
only just seen the clips.
Okay,
of that.
it's one of those things that it's like so bad that it's like it would be fun if you got a few friends together and you watched it and then you just like riffed
have a few
off
drinks,
It.
just get kinda
and just
laughing.
had its own little commentary on it. Yeah.
Well, like similarly to Chewbacca,
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking about, and I completely forgot the name, and I had to look it up again. The Wampa.
Yes.
That one terrified me.
So it's interesting. This got me started on something. So the Wampa it's like this creature in the cave on Hoth, which is an ice planet with snow, that attacks Luke.
Yeah.
So the Wampa is obviously inspired by the Yeti.
Yeah.
So in my head, it's like, well, do I think like the Yeti as a nice creature? And I think to myself, no, I don't think it's the Yeti as the nice creature, but I think of Bigfoot as a nice creature. So why is that?
Why is it that like why does that one in the snow have to be so evil?
It's
like,
just a Bigfoot with white hair. I mean,
just like it just lives in a different temperature. Like,
but I'm more scared of a Yeti than I would be of Bigfoot.
yeah, it's very weird. The Yeti, I think, has just always been ingrained in our minds as like this just killer, like just scary. Like you see the Yeti and it's like, it's like attacking you.
Yeah.
But Bigfoot's just casually strolling through the woods, like not violent.
It's like an exciting and pleasant thing if you see Bigfoot.
Like you're looking for Bigfoot, but I
Unless
don't really
you're
think
eating beef jerky.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's like specifically looking for a Yeti because like it's just going to kill you.
It's just going to
But everyone's looking for the Bigfoot. The Yeti is just a thing that you happen upon and you're unfortunate.
Right.
So it's crazy. But then and then I like went back and I was looking at photos of it and like the first photo you see, it's got like blood all in its beard and like it's terrifying. So it is weird. And then what's funny is I type in Star Wars Yeti and there's a picture of it and then there's a picture of Chewbacca. So it's like Chewbacca could also be like someone probably was like it's like a Yeti. It's derived from a Yeti. So
maybe in an alternate universe, like the Wampa is Chewbacca. Like it's just this big like white furred.
This pose right here with the claws out.
Yeah,
that's what I picture with like the Yeti or like the abominable snowman, whatever you want to like say.
Right.
That's the pose I think of like about
with
to kill you.
With his claws out, like outstretched, and he's ready to get you. Yeah. So weird. I think it's funny, and I was looking up just like deleted scenes of not deleted scenes, but just like little fun facts. And so Mark Hamill was in a car accident. Right before they shot Empire Strikes Back. And so they have him getting attacked by the Wampa, which is a late introduction in the overall process, so that he had some facial scars and stuff, so that was explained when it came into the movie. They shot a different scene of the Wampa storming the base that they had like later on and just start like murdering people, and they cut it because the guy in the suit looked too cute. Like it was like this big like fuzzy bear coming in and like throwing people, and it looked like too funny and cute, and so they cut it from the film because they were like,
that's hilarious.
No, that's not good.
Oh my god! So they shot Mark Hamill's stuff of him with a scar, and then when he got better, they shot it where like he was getting attacked. Is that what you're saying? Like
no, like he had the crash before any of the filming for episode.
Right.
And so they actually wrote the Wampa in the novelization, which they saw after they wrote the script.
Yeah.
And so they added in the Wampa.
Did they just shoot that first since he was like recently hurt? Or
they just shot it in the movie. I mean, it was probably a little bit in the middle of production because they shoot everything out of order.
Yeah, everything.
But I mean, it's early in the movie, so it explains it.
That has always blown my mind about acting and directing is like, you like some movies could shoot like the next to last scene first.
Oh yeah.
And like as an actor, I'm like, it must be hard to like be able to have that consistent mindset of like, I know what this character's been through up to this point.
You have to have read the script 1,000 times to understand the character's motivations, to be in a moment with them, and then to like see different scenes and different takes and ways. Like I was watching a scene just about like there's a scene when they go to Cloud City and it's Han Solo and Princess Leia, and they're talking about their situation, and she comes in a new outfit. And it's meant to be like setting up their love story a little bit more. And they do one take of it where it's like real steamy, and they're like right in each other's faces, and they're saying the same things, and it's like then they start making out, and then they cut. They were like, it's too on the nose. We're gonna do a more subtle scene, and they come back in and do the one that's in the film where it's more in character for them. But it was believable watching them do this like lovey-dovey scene.
Yeah.
So as crazy as like an actor,
weird,
it's like you to be in the moment to do it. It's kind of wild. I'm amazed. It's a magic show. So, what other monster you got in there?
The only other one I put a lot of focus on is the Jawa.
Oh, I don't have anything about the Jawa, so let's talk about that.
And it's not really that they're like a monster.
They're just a thing.
But there's something, so there's a couple things about it that I have always noticed. And it's some themes that I've talked about before. So, well, the biggest thing I think are the eyes. It made me think of like the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah,
the glowing
that's true.
eyes.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
But the thing about it is then I was like, well, honestly, it's like it has those glowing eyes, just like a lot of cryptids. And we've talked about that. Like, why do they all have these glowing eyes? And I think that was a good design because it is like they're small, but like that kind of gives you a little bit more of a fear of them, like the unknown. Like, why are their eyes like that?
Yeah, what's under their hood?
And the fact that you can't see their face, we talked about that with Slender Man. You don't see features, you don't see anything. You just see these glowing eyes. So like they're small, they're not very big. But it's a creepy, like it gives you kind of like a creepy vibe. Like I wouldn't want to just run into like a pack of those anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's like they just have some terrifying or like lack thereof traits. Like the fact that.
Well, that's every good monster movie. You don't see the full creature until probably the very end.
Is there any point in the movie where you never see their face?
No, you never
just see the eyes and they're
just
like
see their
in the
little
desert.
eyes. Yeah.
But that was like one of the things that stood out to me. I was like the glowing eyes. Like I feel like that was intentional, just to kind of like evoke a little bit of fear. In terms of
like even though they're like technically like traitors, you don't trust them.
No,
just from the way that they look.
And I think that comes from the fact that like you don't see their expressions, you don't know the emotion. You just see two glowing eyes coming from them, and I think that's a common theme across a lot of cryptids. So I think that's
yes.
They're not a creature in a cryptid way, but I think that you can relate the way they are to cryptids.
The way they're portrayed. Yeah. I'm with it. So I have, I guess, from the like original, the original three, I have the Diagona. Are you familiar with the Diagona? You're probably not from that name, but I know it better as the trash compactor monster, which is a kid when they're in the Death Star and they get thrown into the trash compactor and the walls start closing in and the tentacle monster shows up. Scary.
That was pretty.
That was scary
because it's like moving through the murk. Like you don't know.
I remember there was parts of it that I was like, I don't really want to watch this part.
Yeah,
scary stuff.
And even though you know they make it, you're still nervous every time you watch it. You're just like, oh my god.
So I was like, well, that's kind of like a why. Like, why was that a thing? And then I looked up the extended lore of it. So it's a cephalopod, which is like squids and octopuses or a cephalopod. That were scavenger species that were often found in garbage systems and sewer systems across the galaxy. So there's these intelligent squids, because squids, guess what, are scarily intelligent, and they have like thoughts and feelings and emotions, and they don't talk, and they're frightening, and they're probably going to take over one day.
You never know; they have a lot of arms.
They got to fight the dolphins for supremacy. It's got to happen.
Yeah,
they have to fight them.
Yeah.
I just thought that was scary. And then I was looking up, I was like, what other scary squid cryptids are out there? The oil pit squid is one of them. So in 1996, workers cleaning a sludge pit in Anderson, Indiana at the GMC Delphi interior found a strange grayish-red squid of around 6 to 8 inches in length swimming around in toxic liquid amongst antifreeze and automobile parts. One was caught and put in a jar and was stored in a factory, but disappeared before further research was done. No more specimens were found even after the pit was cleaned and inspected.
You say Indiana?
Yes.
How in the world did an octopus get to Indiana?
In like this oil pit of parts, and
that's terrifying.
And then they captured it, and then it mysteriously disappeared.
I don't like that one bit. Nope.
That's
why I don't like lakes, dude. People are like, oh, there's nothing in it but fish. You know what?
You don't know?
There's an octopus in Indiana.
In Indiana.
Tell me that there's nothing in
a factory,
lakes.
In a workplace, at a workplace function.
Like, how does that happen? I don't want that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, the squids in general give me the heebie-jeebies. The Ewok is another one that I want to talk about.
Those, they're like so cute, but also terrifying at the same time.
So it's funny. The name comes from rhyming the syllable. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna happen. Here it comes. Rhyming the syllables. Syllables is a tough word.
It is.
Syllables.
Syllables.
Yep. Rhyming the syllables of the word Wookiee with the Northern California Native American tribe called Miwok.
Ewok.
So it's Ewok.
I like it.
That's his kind of naming convention for that. And it makes sense that they're from Northern California Native Americans because all of the Indoor Planet, which is what they're from, in Return of the Jedi, was shot in Northern California.
I was going to say, like, because there's all the trees, like redwoods and stuff. Yeah,
that's all it was the redwood forest that they were in, like up there. And
it's pretty sweet.
No cow, not SoCal, no cow.
No cow.
So the Ewoks were inspired by a dog breed, and I looked up this dog breed, and you should look it up too. It's called the Brussels Griffin.
Brussels Griffin?
Brussels, like Brussels sprouts, and Griffin, like the bird in Harry Potter. Brussels Griffin, which is a cute, it's like a little pug thing. So makeup artists and the visuals designers were given pictures of these dogs. Like they were given like pictures, and they used them for reference when they were doing the makeup and costumes for all the actors.
I mean, it's pretty spot on.
On set, they were like looking at a picture of a dog, and they were like, kind of looks like this around the eyes.
I mean, it's pretty spot on.
Which I was like,
even like that right there.
Oh yeah,
like that's like wow.
If you look at their faces are pretty.
This one's the one though. This one's the one that I'm like, yeah, that's
it.
You're
with it.
That's an Ewok.
What else do I have here? So moving on. Well, before we even move on here, I do want to talk about one particular cryptid that I think is like the cryptid of the Star Wars universe and is in pop culture as we know it now is Yoda.
Yoda, yeah.
And Baby Yoda. Both mysterious creatures with an unconfirmed origin that there's only like maybe one or two of them like hanging around the galaxy at some point.
Lives in a swamp?
I mean, he decided to be in a swamp, but where is he really from? Where are they really from?
Where are we really from?
From Earth.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably have your birth certificate. Probably says Earth.
Fair enough.
So I was looking into like the design of Yoda, and I was like, okay, what did they inspire it by? So it's actually the artist Stuart Freeborn made Yoda in his image, and he looks like Yoda, but he didn't look old enough. And so he saw a picture of Albert Einstein, and he literally copied the wrinkles on Albert Einstein onto this face that he had made that was in his own image, and that's literally Yoda.
What was his name?
Stuart Freeborn.
I need to see this.
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll be like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep.
I see it 100%. That is Yoda right there.
So one of the things, he wanted to originally make it with a jaw, like a jaw. I don't know why I said it like that, but like, you know, the bone, like you got your chin and then you got your jaw.
Your jaw?
Your jaw. Your jaw. That's a weird word. Jaw.
Have some coffee.
Yeah, whatever. So Frank Oz said that he didn't want a jaw on it because he would be able to emote with it more. So that's why the Yoda has a rounder face, is because he can use because he was the puppeteer for it and the voice for it.
Yeah. And
so that's why Yoda doesn't have a jaw particularly. It's more of a rounded face.
It's pretty amazing.
One thing that people are this is a speculation, but they speculate now that Yoda is an omnivore because Baby Yoda be eating some frogs.
Yeah.
In some of the scenes, and people are like, "Oh, Yoda wouldn't eat a frog." But here's the thing: if you look at Yoda's anatomy, so if you really if you really put your claws into it, you can notice that he has long fingernails, which predators generally use to hunt prey, and then his teeth are very pointy and sharp, which generally you're only using those. You're not using those teeth to have like a little bit of potato. Mm-hmm. Like you're normally going to be eating some meat. You're going to be tearing some flesh as a omnivore. Yeah. Because he's eating plants too. He's not like a carnivore.
I think it's a fair bet.
So what's your take on this Baby Yoda situation?
I love it.
You're on it? You're on board?
I love it. I saw some meme or some video where he kept hitting a button in the spaceship.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to get to that part. I'm assuming it's coming up.
Yeah, I've watched 4 episodes. It's just every scene in that show when you have Baby Yoda in it, and not spoiling anything. It's great. It's like Now it's not the show's not for everyone.
Right.
It's
I've enjoyed it. I like the
it's good.
transitions, how they keep it consistent with Star Wars, like the screen will wipe or like at the circle and it'll like I like that they're true to the Star Wars kind of brand.
Right. It's not a show for everybody, but it is delight. Baby Yoda makes the show.
I like it.
Really.
I think the old Mandalorian, he's pretty badass.
The Mando. The cheeky Mando.
Cheeky Mando, yeah. I think it's pretty good though.
So that's Yoda. I have on here. Oh, one of the things, speaking of the Mandalorian, is a bounty hunter just a fancy, mean cryptozoologist?
Pretty much.
Because that's all they do is they just like, I mean, I guess they would get humans too, but they get a lot of different species that they
don't discriminate.
They got to go find them. You can find them.
Go get them.
And they get their little trackers and they go and they get the people. And I mean it's just. They got to go all these different places. They're just like big, fancy, mean cryptozoologists.
I like that speculate. I like that sort of take on it. I'm a fan.
So going back in time, we've got everyone's favorite Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks. He gets a lot of flack, man, but I'm a fan of Jar Jar.
Jar Jar Binks was delightful as a child. Jar Jar Binks was delightful, and he's inspired by Goofy. Like
I could see that for sure.
That's one of the things that George Lucas has said is that he was just like essentially like meant to be the Goofy, like Goofy the dog, like a Mickey Mouse character.
Had they had better CGI. Or just not use CGI and use makeup effects and stuff on it.
Right.
I think Jar Jar could have maybe prospered a little more.
Maybe. And like his point is like he's supposed to be like a little bit annoying to like the Jedi. But like C-3PO does that in the original trilogy. Yeah. I don't know. So one of the things that I thought was interesting was that they designed him to be like his look is not supposed to be like a lizard or anything. It's supposed to be like some from the Jurassic period. He was designed to be like kind of like an ostrich in between that didn't have any feathers. And so all of his features and his like walk around, it's like a wing, not a wingless, featherless ostrich.
I could see that for sure.
Rather interesting.
But he's more of like a water creature, right? Isn't that like what
he's a Gungan.
The underwater world, the underwater city was always one of my favorite parts of those movies.
Well, they have like the different breathers, and I thought about going into the fish that eat the submarine. I'm trying to keep it surface level here because there's
a lot. I mean, there's creatures of all types there. So it's like you could talk about it being basically like a megalodon type situation.
Right. And I mean, we could talk about the leader of the Gungan people, Bossa Nova. Like we could talk about her. Or no, his name's not Bossa Nova. It's like Boss Nova or something.
Whatever it is.
We'll
keep it surface level.
Anyways, and the last creature that I have written down is Porg. So Porgs, I didn't know this, but Porgs were not originally going to be in the movie. I don't know if you know this. They weren't going to originally be in the movie, but when they shot on this little island in Ireland, there was puffin everywhere, like the bird, and they were just like, and they couldn't remove them. And so they were like, we need something to cover up the puffins. And so they designed the porgs. Yeah. And so everywhere there was a puffin, they put in a porg. And the porgs look a lot like puffins.
I thought that was, I had read that at one point. And they're real cute. Cute little guys.
I remember seeing them at a zoo, like before the porg, like I remember seeing a porg at the zoo before porgs are big. No, I remember seeing a puffin at the zoo. And I thought that they were real cute. I learned something, though. They disappear. Like people, for years, they had disappeared during the winter months. And nobody knew where all the puffins went. And it turns out that puffins collectively retreat from their native lands to feed on surface water from an underwater mountain range 200 miles off the coast of Cape Cod. So there's like this little ecosystem reef, and they all go out to the middle of the ocean during the winter, and they feed off of the organisms at the top of this ecosystem. Crazy. They all disappear. And people were like, oh, we don't know where the puffins go.
And then boom, they're back.
And then they're back. Isn't that wild?
That is weird. That's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then, as my last bit, I have two animals that were named after Star Wars characters. So there is the Waki Chewbacca, which is a moth in western Mexico known for its very hairy characteristics. Yeah. So, I mean, a cousin of Mothman, Waki Chewbacca. And then Xenocary amygdala, named after an extinct giraffe that had 2 large horns that rose steeply, as well as a separate brow structure that rose until it reached the back of the skull, forming a T. So you should look this up. It's a Xenocary amygdala, and I'll spell that for you. XENOKERYAMIDALE. You should look up this animal. It's freaking crazy. It looks like an alien. It looks like it's in Star Wars. But this like weird horn brow structure, the paleontologist that discovered it said it looked like Amidala's headpiece in episode 1. It's just like, I'm gonna name it Princess Amidala.
I mean, it's cool. It's life imitates art.
Imitates life, imitates art.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Part of it.
Well, I am like so inundated in all of my Star Wars shell.
I'm excited to watch Mandalorian tonight and get more in depth with it. So,
my favorites have been episodes 2 and 4.
I'm right there, man.
Episode 2 has Jawas.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
Episode 2 has Jawas, and it's
Super
great.
Pumped.
Episodes 2 and 4 have been my favorite.
Okay.
I think the 2 is called The Child. 4 is called The something. I don't know. It's all whatever. Yeah. But I have been playing the new Star Wars game. It's been a fantastic. I've been like Star Wars.
Is it difficult?
Yes.
I've heard
if you play it on you learn you learn that it's like, oh, I'm not gonna like run in there. I'm not like Kylo Ren, and I'm not bashing everything. Yeah. It's like I got to be a Jedi, and I got to block stuff because that's what you do most of the time. You rarely get a hit when you're a Jedi, but when you get a hit, you get a hit.
Okay, I might ask for it for Christmas or something.
Yeah, it's good. It reminds me a lot of it's kind of like God of War, and Uncharted. I think is a better.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of like exploration, but the jumping in platforming and doing stuff, and but the combat in the world is kind of like God of War, where you've got to like the combat in God of War is kind of deliberate. And the world, it's like you can go back and find secrets and do different stuff, and it's open to you.
Cool.
As you go along.
I have to check it out then.
And somebody pointed out to me though that it was a video I was watching that the main character is the Jedi is the redheaded kid from the movie Click that Adam Sandler was in.
Really?
Yeah. And now I can't get it out of my head. And now whenever I play this game, I'm like, oh, this is just the redheaded kid from Click.
Donkey did a video about it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, where it has some problems. It's not like a perfect game.
Yeah. It was funny.
I enjoy his videos.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're done for today. I think that I've exhausted all of the Star Wars that I possibly can out of one podcast today. So don't forget to check out our Discord and go to our Instagram and go to our Twitter and follow us at _CryptidCast. If you want to find our Discord, it's online. Go to thecryptidcast.net. That's where you can find all of our stuff, including our merch store, which you can get some fantastic t-shirts. The t-shirts are so fantastic. I love them so much. Mine's super soft, and I wear it, and I'm so warm and cozy in it.
Super soft.
Super soft.
I'm telling you what, bud.
Well, I legitimately do think that shirt is very soft, and I enjoy it.
Very, very soft.
A good deal. But you can go to find that shirt at thecryptidcast.net.
Yeah, you sure can, bud.
You can, like I said, go to our Discord, and Discord is like a communication app, so we get to talk directly to you, so you can learn about all of like our musings during the day when maybe Austin might have gotten kidnapped sometime. Maybe... What are we talking about this week? We're talking about weird festive cats that eat people, and
you just come on there and talk to us there, bud.
Yeah, it's you can do as you will.
Do whatever you want to do. You hear about our daily lives. It's real fun there, bud.
All right. Well, as far as what I have for today, that's it. Austin, do you want to lead us out?
Sure. Yeah. So from holler to highway, yeah, bud, we got you covered. 6 ways to Sunday there, bud.
This podcast was hosted by Dave Chathins and Austin O'Connor. Find them on Twitter at CryptidCastDave and OCO_photo. Music produced by Dave Chathins. Artwork by
James Addison. Links to our social media and merch are down in the description below.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Rated M for mature.
Because we don't believe in scripted advertisements, we're gonna do this raw.
I'm regretting this decision.
No, you're not. This is the DL Weekly Gaming News. There's nothing to regret here, because it's your source for everything in the gaming world. Every week, we bring it to you. Unscripted, unfiltered. That's why it's rated M for mature, right, Brenna?
Among many, many other reasons.
I am one of your hosts, Jameson.
And as he already said, I am Brenna, the other glorious part to this quality podcast.
You can find us every week wherever you listen to your podcasts at DL Gaming News. And you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter if you want some gaming news in your social media feed every day at DL Gaming News.
And you can find us individually if you really, really, truly want to see our faces. I am at DL_Mother Goose.
And I'm at DL Jameson. And this was an advertisement. Go fuck yourselves.
Let me tell you about T-Boost. T-Boost is great. My wife and I have really enjoyed the fact that we found it, we discovered it. And this is a real account. This is real. This isn't some made up story for an ad. My wife and I, Cheryl and I, we have had the time of our lives. We've been getting freaky. We've been getting real down and dirty. And it's been the time of our lives. The ripping and the tearing. Have you ever seen that video?
No, I have not. I have not.
It's a YouTube video of a guy dancing, and he's like, the ripping and the tearing, the ripping and the tearing.
Good.
But anyway, back to what I was saying. Mm-hmm. We have had the time of our lives, and I really hope that you better exclude this from the episode because I have gone real deep with this joke. But we have had just such, it has been simply divine. And I want you guys to try what was it called? T-Boost. 3 easy payments of $79.99 will get you a 3-week trial.
Yeah.
It's very affordable, and it is going to make you go from 6 to midnight all the time.
Okay, so 3-week trial is you have to pay 3 payments of $79.99 to get the.
I don't make the rules.
Okay.
Yeah, please don't include that. I just said that it would make you go from 6 to midnight.
Well, then I'll...
Boner alert. You can include that if you want. Boner alert.